Hey folks, CheatingLefty here. Thank you so much for joining me today. This video, we are looking at the Osprey and Climo discs. And if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button so that way you don't miss out on any future content. So first, looking at the profile of the Osprey, one thing you're going to notice, it has a lot of rounded edges, particularly in the shoulder, the nose, and under the wing, and the inner rim of the flight plate. It has this really kind of a rounded bead almost. It's very unique. It gives a nice roundness to the bottom of the rim, so it makes it feel incredibly comfortable. Also, the flight plate is pretty flat on top. It has a nice gradual shoulder, but once the shoulder kind of meets the flight plate, it is very flat, making this very comfortable for both backhand and forehand. And when it comes to this victory line, it feels great. It has good grip, pretty decent flexibility for those who like a little bit gummier plastics. This is made by Discraft. Dare I say this might be a better Z style plastic than Discraft's normal Z. I do like this a lot more. For the flight numbers, speed 10, glide 6, turn -3, and a fade of 1. As we're going to see from the flight here, if you are a beginner looking to get into distance drivers, or if you have kind of a slower to medium arm speed, this is a perfect long distance driver. Now, when thrown on a hyzer, you can get it to hyzer out as you're seeing here, but you do have to power down a little bit, give it a little bit of more of a steeper angle because you are going to get a lot of flip up to flat. And because of that, because it is so understable in the earlier part of the flight, also as we're going to see later on in the middle, it makes it perfect for hyzer flipping. If you are looking to learn how to hyzer flip, this is the perfect driver to do it with because it is so effortless to get it to flip up to flat. It'll hold a pretty straight line, maybe depending on the power angle, just a little bit of a panning turn before having a sneaky amount of fade as it slows down. But it doesn't really have a dumpy finish as it slows down. Instead, it keeps pushing forward. It has that nice forward penetrating finish as it hyzers out. And then once you do start throwing it flat, you are going to notice quite a bit of turn in the earlier and middle parts of the flight before just that late stability kicks in as the disc slows down. This is great if you need to get around something. You can throw it on a nice flat line. Know that later in the flight it's going to get a nice panning turn around an object and then a hyzer back, as we're actually going to see a good representation of that a little bit later on in the course shots. For anhyzers, because this is an understable driver, once you do get on that anhyzer line, it is going to really like to hold those anhyzers. It's very forgiving. That is one thing I like. Even if you miss your angle of release, some understable drivers will just turn right into a roller. Sometimes they may even just stay straight and hyzer out. But the Osprey is just very, very forgiving. There were some shots that I thought I did not give it enough anhyzer, but it still held the anhyzer line nearly all the way to the ground, meaning that I can trust this, that even if I'm off just a little bit on my angle, I know it's still going to hold the intended line. Maybe not nearly go as far, but it's still going to get the intended shot. And when it comes to forehand, I mean, come on, it's an understable disc. It is great for those hyzer flip-ups when throwing for forehand and you're getting that little bit of extra torque on it. You are going to have to do a little bit more finesse, power down using more wrist instead of arm, but it's something where if you're in a pinch, you don't have a big run up, or you're just kind of pinched against a tree, it is good for those nice little kind of finesse flicks that will still net you quite a bit of distance because it has so much glide to it, and because it's so effortless to get up to speed, you don't have to put a whole lot into this to get good distance with it. All right, now out on the course, and I mentioned earlier it has that nice forward pushing finish. That is what I like it for if I want something just thrown on a hyzer line, flip up a little bit to flat, and have it pushing forward. Hyzer flips, yeah, this thing likes to flip up to flat, hold these really nice, incredibly straight lines within just a little bit of a baby hyzer at the very end. And this is that late panning shot that I have extreme troubles with. Well, not with this disc. This solves it, as I will get those nice late turns around something and then a nice hyzer back at the very end. And for those of us with slower arms, this is going to be a great distance driver that is very controllable with the thinner rim than those Speed 12s. Just make sure you hold it out wide, get that nice big panning turn, give it a little bit of height, and then get that full S-curve shot. And I mentioned easy for turnovers. This shot, I did not think I gave it enough turn, and as you can see, it still held that turn all the way. It came up just maybe a little bit short of what I wanted, but it still held that turn the entire way, even though I felt like I missed my angle by a little bit. So when it comes to lefty lines, I wanted to test the Osprey against another driver from Discraft that has the same numbers, more or less, and that is the Avenger SS. I used to love the Avenger SS and know that a lot of players do, but honestly, the Avenger SS was something just out of the box. Sometimes you didn't quite get the turn. It was almost a little bit more on the overstable side than what I was thinking based on the numbers. Well, the Osprey, it solves that. It is what I thought the Avenger SS would be right out of the box. Now, yes, for bigger arms, the Avenger SS is going to have those flight numbers. I just feel like the Osprey, that's more geared for those of us with slower to medium arms. That is what we're looking for. So if you think the Avenger SS is just a little bit too much for you, take the Osprey, because as you can see here, it is so effortless for these distance shots. This is becoming one of my favorite drivers of 2025. You really need to take a look at this. It's effortless to control, not as wide rimmed as those Speed 12s, but honestly, for players of slower arms like ourselves, you're not really going to see that much difference between a Speed 12 or a Speed 10, so you may as well grab something that is controllable that you can trust on nearly every single throw. Well, again, everyone, thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to visit GreatLakesDisc.com to purchase your next disc and to get your Osprey before they sell out. Also, be sure to smash that like button and hit that subscribe button, because guess what? I'm going to be reviewing the entire Climo disc golf lineup, and you're not going to want to miss out. So be sure that you're subscribed so that way you're notified. Till the next time, everyone, keep banging chains.